Well, I'm here to tell you there is some moving and shaking going on in the Indiana Fever organization because they have definitely let go of a player. Now, I know y'all thinking, what does this mean? This means Caitlin Clark return is sooner rather than later. Could that be why we did not see Caitlin come back? I mean, we did not see Caitlin travel with the team this past week. I don't know.
The Indiana Fever just cut a player named Kyra Lambert. On the surface, it's a meaningless transaction that almost nobody noticed, but it's not. This single roster move is a carefully planned signal, a hidden message sent to the entire league that their secret plan for Caitlin Clark's return is now officially in motion. This wasn't just a routine cut, it was the final domino to fall in a perfectly timed operation, and it reveals the exact timeline for when their superstar is about to storm back onto the court and completely upend the playoff race.
Guys, today the Indiana Fever have officially released Kyra Lambert, a guard from overseas who Stephanie White signed on a trust me bro recommendation. Somebody who Stephanie White didn't even know existed up until about 8 days ago. Unfortunately for Kyra Lambert, her time on the Indiana Fever has come and her time on the Indiana Fever has gone. Best of luck to you and your future endeavors. This has been
it's a blessing, having the journey that I've had and just, remaining faithful, trusting God and doing the work and just to see it all come back around and have this opportunity is awesome.
What's this opportunity in the W mean, given all that you've worked to get to this point?
Yeah. I mean, it means everything, to, again, just remain faithful and trust the process. It speaks to resiliency, it speaks to faith, and I'm really excited to be here.
What's your familiarity, if anything, with this team, with Steph, with how they want to run things?
Yeah, I've been watching the W for years. It's the best basketball in the world. So, I've been watching and I've been...
To truly grasp the magnitude of what's happening, you have to understand the story of the player who became a ghost in the system. Kyra Lambert's journey to the WNBA was one of incredible resilience. After a decorated college career was nearly derailed by 3 separate ACL tears, injuries that would have ended most careers, she refused to give up. She spent years reinventing herself overseas, grinding away in foreign gyms, far from the spotlight, honing her craft in the hyper-competitive Greek A1 League. When the Indiana Fever called, it was more than a contract, it was validation. It was the culmination of a decade of struggle, faith, and relentless work. In her introductory press conference, she spoke with profound gratitude, calling the opportunity a blessing and a testament to trusting the process. She was ready to contribute, to prove she belonged. But her entire WNBA career, the dream she fought so hard for, lasted a grand total of 5 seconds. She checked into a game, saw 1 possession of play, and was subbed out. Days later, she was waived. Her dream had a 5-second lifespan, not because she wasn't good enough, but because she was a pawn in a much larger game, a temporary placeholder for the return of royalty.
Now, why is this move curious? Well, Lambert was on a 7-day deal, so the Fever could just be looking at this break knowing that her contract was going to expire anyway and not wanting to waste her time. But under the hardship rules, as that it has been, put out there and publicized, the Fever only had to release one of the 2 players between Odyssey Sims and Kyra Lambert once Caitlin Clark was back. But one of them was going to have to go once they...
Fever fans, I don't know, we might have some good news. Well, we might have some great news. Cece, my precious Cece, might be returning. Might be. You hear me? Because they just released Kyra Lambert. You hear me? She had 3 ACL tears. So she wasn't good for nothing anyway. She fragile. How you have that many ACL tears? But thank you for providing us 7 days of your presence. You hear me? We needed you to fill in. You hear me? Because the GOAT, the greatest of all time, is about to return in due time.
The ruthlessness of Lambert's exit becomes clearer when you understand the cold calculus behind it. The Fever were in crisis mode, with superstar Caitlin Clark sidelined by a stubborn groin injury. The league granted them a hardship exception, a special tool allowing them to sign temporary players to stay afloat. They brought in two guards, Lambert, the hopeful newcomer, and Odyssey Sims, a 33-year-old veteran with over a decade of WNBA experience. Sims is a survivor, a proven floor general who has seen it all. The critical rule of the hardship exception is simple. The moment your injured star is cleared to return, one of the temporary players must be immediately cut.
Clearly, Odyssey Sims has played herself into more of a role for the Fever. She got a bunch of minutes in the game on Sunday, 42 minutes for Sims. Lambert didn't play, right? So you can see relative one to the other where the Fever were looking at things from the pecking order standpoint. Now, there's also the Sophie Cunningham injury, but to be honest, I'm not sure how that would impact things unless they felt they needed somebody at that position rather than more depth at the point guard position.
The Fever's choice was telling. They didn't roll the dice on the unknown potential of Lambert. They held on to the veteran stability of Sims. It was a strategic decision that revealed their entire hand. They knew their superstar was coming back, and they needed a seasoned professional like Sims who could provide reliable minutes now and seamlessly slide into a reduced role later without disrupting the team's chemistry. Lambert was never part of the long-term plan. She was a temporary patch, and her contract was designed to be ripped away the second it was no longer needed.
We just saw the most pointless contract of all time. The most pointless 7-day of all time. Kyra Lambert. They didn't even give Kyra Lambert a page on the WNBA website. I'm not joking. Like, you type in WNBA.com and you look at the Fever's last game. Maybe they updated it because she actually saw the floor. Fever vs Connecticut. Kyra Lambert played a grand total of 4 seconds. She played 4 seconds. It would have been better off just to not play her. Oh wait, it rounded up to 5. They didn't even give her a WNBA page. They did not even give her a WNBA.
If the choice of who to keep wasn't enough evidence, the timing of the cut erases all doubt. This wasn't a decision made in a vacuum. It was a perfectly timed event in a sequence that feels almost too convenient to be a coincidence. First, during a national broadcast, the ESPN commentary team casually mentioned that the Fever were hoping Clark would return to practice during the team's upcoming week-long break. Then, just days later, an updated injury report from the league officially moved Clark's estimated return to game date to the window of August 22nd to August 26th, the very first game scheduled immediately after that same break. Finally, on the Monday morning that the break officially began, the news of Lambert's release was announced, one event after another, each lining up perfectly. This wasn't a series of fortunate coincidences. This was the execution of a well-designed plan. The front office used the break as a strategic launchpad, giving Clark a full week to practice with the team away from the pressure of games before unleashing her on the league once more. Lambert's release was simply the first public step in that calculated process.
But we did know that once Caitlin Clark was back, one of the two hardship signings was going to have to go. So that's naturally where people's heads were thinking when it was reported on the ESPN broadcast that Clark, the hope was she would return to practice this week with target dates the 22nd, 24th, 26th, those games being thrown out as potential return dates. Now, I don't have any other updates on that. I mean, I took Stephanie White's comments as they hope still she returns at the regular season a little less confident than the previous.
It's impossible to overstate what Caitlin Clark's return means for this team and the league. This isn't just about getting back their leading scorer, though her averages of nearly 17 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds are staggering. This is about reinstalling the team's entire operating system. Clark is the gravitational force that the Fever's offense orbits around. Her unlimited shooting range stretches defenses to their breaking point, creating wide-open driving lanes and shots for everyone else on the floor. Her court vision is generational. She sees plays before they happen and delivers passes that leave defenders helpless. When she is on the court, the game fundamentally changes. The pace quickens, the offense flows, and the entire team plays with a different level of confidence. Her return isn't just an addition, it's a transformation. She's the spark that ignites the entire franchise, and putting that spark back into the lineup heading into the season's most critical stretch is a move designed to create an explosion.
Can the Fever please invest in international scouts? They definitely need to invest in international scouts because I know your boy John Liquidator ain't the best advocate when it comes to overseas players, but something I would say, they play hard, bro. Those overseas players play like they got something to prove. I give them that. But far as me, I feel like we got enough talent here at home in our home country to get players. Somebody said every day I question if Amber Cox and Stephanie White are even on the same page.
The stakes for this return are astronomically high, as the Indiana Fever are currently locked in a brutal fight for their playoff lives. They sit precariously in the middle of the standings, a position that feels like standing on the edge of a cliff. A few losses could send them tumbling out of the postseason entirely, marking another year of disappointment for the franchise. Yet, a few wins could see them surge into the top tier of the league, securing home court advantage and establishing themselves as a legitimate threat to win it all. The margin for error is non-existent. The final games of the season are a gauntlet, and every possession will matter. Injecting a superstar of Clark's caliber into this high-pressure environment is the ultimate wildcard. She has the power to single-handedly alter the trajectory of their season, to turn a potential playoff bubble team into a powerhouse that no one wants to face in a 7-game series. Her return isn't just about making the playoffs, it's about rewriting what's possible for this team.
Throughout her second season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark has posted 16.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 8.8 assists per game for the Indiana Fever. Clark started the season on a tear under Stephanie White, but has since struggled to stay on the court, playing her second season as a professional. The Fever have 9 remaining games of their regular season schedule. They have a long break before their next matchup on Friday. The venue will be open, giving Clark a chance to rehab as the Fever take several days off from game action.
But here is the most fascinating and dangerous part of this entire situation, the part that should make every other team in the league nervous. While Clark was recovering, the Fever didn't collapse. They evolved. The injury, in a strange way, may have been a blessing in disguise. Without their superstar to lean on, other players were forced to step into the void. Aaliyah Boston became a more dominant force in the paint. Kelsey Mitchell and Natasha Howard took on greater offensive responsibility, proving they could carry the load. The team learned how to win ugly, grinding out defensive victories and developing a gritty, resilient identity they lacked before. They were forged in the fire of adversity. Now Clark isn't returning to save a desperate, struggling team. She is returning to join a battle-hardened squad that has discovered its own strength and toughness. They are no longer a one-woman show. They are a complete, dangerous team that is about to add a generational talent back into its ranks. That combination of newfound grit and superstar firepower is the recipe for a legendary playoff run.
Fever, we have a chance. But the only thing I'm concerned about is she 100% healthy? You hear me? And I need to know what's going on with Sophie. Because that's her enforcer. Because everybody else on the team be acting like they scared and softer than Charmin tissue. You hear me? Y'all better protect my precious CC by any means necessary. Playoffs. That's right there in the view. You hear me? Here we come. The referees need to get it in gear. I still don't trust Stephanie.
When you look at the entire sequence of events, the strategic use of the hardship rule, the release of a player after a 5-second career, the perfect alignment with a pre-planned break, it's clear this was no accident. The Indiana Fever's front office has been playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers, maneuvering their pieces behind the scenes to engineer this exact moment. They have weathered the storm of injuries and positioned their team for a dramatic late-season surge, led by the return of their queen. It's a masterstroke of roster management, a high-stakes gamble that is about to pay off. The only question that remains is how big the payoff will be. Are we about to witness the beginning of a championship run, a comeback story that will be talked about for years to come, or is the pressure of these expectations too much? The stage is set, the plan is in motion, and the entire WNBA is about to find out.
That they are being extraordinarily deliberate with every step in this process when it comes to Caitlin Clark. But like I said on Sunday, that's the kind of win, if I'm CC, that I watch and say, I got to get back out there. Like, nothing can stop me from rejoining this team this season. that fight that they showed out.
This calculated move wasn't just an internal memo for Fever fans. It was a warning shot fired across the bow of the entire WNBA. Coaching staffs in New York, Connecticut, and Las Vegas, who might have been preparing for a tough but predictable Fever team, now have to throw their game plans into the trash. The team they scouted for weeks, the gritty defense-first team that relied on committee scoring, is about to be replaced by a two-headed monster. How do you prepare for a team that has both the toughness learned from adversity and the explosive firepower of a returning superstar? The answer is, you can't. This move has injected a massive dose of uncertainty and fear into their opponents. Every top contender that thought their path to the finals was clear now has a new, unpredictable threat to worry about. The Fever didn't just clear a roster spot, they announced their intention to crash the championship party, and the rest of the league is now scrambling to react.
If she's going to play, I hope that she comes back successful. I hope that she can come back as a difference maker, because the playoffs are around the corner, and the Indiana Fever are much better when she's on the team. She takes so much responsibility and able to dictate pace and able to control the momentum of the game, and also generate points for herself and for others. And she makes the game easier for all her teammates. So I know they would love to have her back. My biggest concern is the injuries, and for selfish reasons, I would prefer her, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese to just sit out for the rest.
While fans in the front office celebrate this strategic masterstroke, all of the pressure now lands squarely on the shoulders of one person, Caitlin Clark. She isn't just returning from a serious injury, she is returning as the designated savior, the one player expected to validate this entire gamble. The narrative has been set. If they win, it's because she returned. If they lose, questions will surface. Is she 100% healthy? Is she disrupting the chemistry the team built in her absence? Every shot she takes, every pass she makes will be scrutinized under a microscope. She has to reintegrate into a team that learned to survive without her, all while playing at the MVP level everyone expects. It's an almost impossible situation. She's walking a tightrope between being the hero of a legendary comeback and potentially becoming the scapegoat if the plan goes wrong. This isn't just a physical recovery, it's a monumental psychological test.
I mean, it has come down to this season and Caitlin Clark's return. If they hope to make the playoffs, this is what's got to be done. She's got to come back, and she's gonna have to win. And she's got to win even with Stephanie White as her coach. Good Lord, she will be the GOAT if she can pull that off at this point.
Ultimately, this entire saga is now balanced on a knife's edge, with two drastically different futures hanging in the balance. In one scenario, the dream becomes reality. Clark returns seamlessly, her firepower perfectly complementing the team's newfound grit. They go on a historic run, tearing through the final games of the season, securing home court advantage, and entering the playoffs as the most feared team in the league. It becomes a story of perfect timing and brilliant management. But there is another, darker path. The groin injury could linger, robbing her of her explosive first step. Her return could disrupt the delicate chemistry, causing the offense to sputter. The pressure could be too much, leading to a late-season collapse that sees them miss the playoffs entirely. The masterstroke would become a cautionary tale of rushing a star back too soon. The Indiana Fever have made their move and placed their bet. Now all that's left is to see which future unfolds.